Thank you, Rick. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Beautiful day to be gathered together. We've got Dr. Wiggins back with us with our message today, Chris and his guitar. Beautiful day. Rick here. We're just so happy to see everyone. Please remember to turn your phones down so it doesn't disturb the service. And let's all stand and sing our first song.
Good morning. Morning. I'm so glad to be with you. Let's see if I can turn on. Now I'm live. You thought I was live before, but now I'm really live. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to have the people who are looking at us on their TVs or computers or whatever, and just enjoy a few moments of worship, of uplift together. And that's a special thing. Now today, my Bible quote is from Psalms, the 37th Psalm. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. That's from Psalm 37. Well, excuse me. Noses sometimes need attention at the most inopportune times. Forgive me. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for the Lord upholdeth him with his hand. Did he ever fall? I'm afraid so. We have times when we don't meet our expectations or the expectations of other people. We have a sense of, though if we don't use the word falling, perhaps not meeting our own expectations about ourselves, but everybody's experienced it. Now, the second part, we need to remember in those moments, because you have never made a mistake in your life, ever. Is that surprising news? You have made decisions that were helpful or decisions that were a lesson or an opportunity to learn. No mistakes. Never think of yourself that way as a person who has not gotten up when he fell down, not seeing that seeing it as an opportunity to learn, to become, to feel differently. The Lord upholdeth him with his hand. And so we can begin to look at the things that have hurt us, that we have done, we've been disappointed in, ourselves or other people, the Lord is still upholding us. God only sees the good within us. God knows what He created us to be. And we are and always will be the image of God. So don't worry about falling. It's part of life. Disappointing ourselves. That too is a part of life. The Lord keeps on and always keep on. Loving us, upholding us. Now, what we have to do is see it that way. That's a challenge. But see it that way we can. Lord always upholds us, and we are good and very good. Shall we say our statement of being now? God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Chris, for sending us off into this service in such a lovely way. It's now our time of inner and outer healing, prayer, meditation, whatever you want to call it. Now it's an opportunity to get still, to feel the presence of God, to talk to God and ask for what we need, give thanks for what we have, feel better about ourselves because we know that we are all one with His infinite power, His power for good. Take a deep breath and try to release the body, let go of any tensions that might be within us. Move away from the mind. The mind is so busy all the time, intrudes so much in having a peaceful, happy life. So we quiet the mind as well as the body. And what comes into sight is peace. What comes into being is love. Such a time is precious. Whenever it takes place, whether daily or weekly, there's an opportunity to celebrate. In the next few seconds, that is the next 90 seconds, we will not only relax mentally and physically, but we will relax into the presence of God, knowing that He is with us, within us, all around us. In peace and harmony, we turn to Him. We turn to infinite presence, infinite power, infinite love, and talk to Him, starting right now. Come unto me, all ye who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you solutions. I will give you encouragement and faith and hope, belief and results. This day and every day. We need to turn to that one. Know presence, power, good, right where we are. And give thanks. Give thanks that it is so. Amen. My talk today is entitled, This is the Day. This is the day. Today is the only day we live. Today is the only day we live. This moment, I think, indeed has our full attention, unless, of course, we're dividing our attention between the past and the present, or tomorrow as well as today. The past might include contain a boatload of grief and pain, or beauty and encouragement, good times. And we keep mentally revisiting those times, whether they're negative or positive. But what they are actually is a memory. A memory. We might be dragging around memories around pain, good. They either cheer us up or perhaps they depress us. But we only live this day right here, right now, this moment. Oh yes, we could have concerns or even fears about what might come about tomorrow, but that's the result of an active imagination, usually a negative imagination. We make up stories about things that might happen to us. But again, we live today, not tomorrow, right now. And right now, what is truly important is our mindset. The expectations we bring to today, the things that color and shape this day. If you have the right mindset, it can make today absolutely spectacular, just terrific. This morning, I want to briefly revisit some ideas that any of you who took a course in psychology might find very familiar. Did anybody take psych in high school or college? Well, yeah, just about everybody. What I'll be talking about today is Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maybe you remember that, maybe you don't. But even if you did take a psych course, you probably long forgotten what those needs were. Well, today I'm going to give a brief overview of this concept. And it's an important one because it's influenced psychology and psychiatry. It's influenced education, business, management, even boardrooms, and on and on. Now, what are those basic ideas, the basic needs we have? Air, number one. You've got to breathe. Then water, food, sleep, sex, and a relatively constant body temperature. You can't take extremes in temperature. The second one was safety. Well, that might sound familiar to some of you. Security, protection, all is included in safety. This need would include something like the loss of a job, your home being lost, the loss of a dear person, being a victim of crime, that sometimes happens. Also, perhaps the loss of retirement savings or Social Security, or some way to protect ourselves from economic crises, natural disasters. We need a sense of safety. That's one of the things that makes us so empathetic to areas of the world that are undergoing war, privation. When there are wars or family violence, safety becomes a primary need. Belonging and love was the third need. And that's one of our basic needs. Family. Family is especially important with children. They will cling to an abusive parent because they need to feel that belonging, even if there is no love there. But a community of like-minded, accepting friends can be wonderful. They can really make us appreciate life so much more richer, a life. Loving and being loved, valued, is important to everybody, especially if we are valued by a special person. Valued by many can be essential to a person, like having a social group, large social group, or the military. That can be a really binding kind of experience where we feel important, special. We have special skills. Church groups, another opportunity to bond together and feel that sense of belonging. Gangs, that too, is a way to feel belonging with a group of people. And it sometimes prompts people to do some very, very destructive things. If we don't have a bonding or a belonging with a group, a feeling of love with certain people, what happens is we become very lonely, depressed sometimes, and the social anxiety might be the result of it. Maslow talked about self-esteem as being a basic need. That is valuing yourself, seeing the good, seeing the strengths within yourself. Confidence in ourselves, that's so important. If we have a critical parent, and I've met many who have, it can be so destructive all their lives. They have low self-esteem. They have inferiority complexes, and trying to convince them that they are good and very good, that God created them and love is their inheritance, is something that they cannot bring themselves to absorb, sadly. The top of Maslow's pyramid was self-actualization. Does that sound a little bit familiar? And that means fulfilling your potential to the fullest possible degree. Being the most you can be, whether that's being a parent, whether that's being a friend, an athlete, something that you are excellent in, maybe being an artist or a musician. If you can do that to the fullness of your being, you will feel self-actualized. Devoting your life to a great objective, to something so much larger than yourself, and one thing that can help so many people. That, Maslow said, very, very few people achieve. For example, Mohandas Gandhi and his resistance to the English through civil disobedience. Nelson Mandela, who used actions against apartheid and achieved something for the whole country of South Africa. Maslow published a paper where he described the hierarchy of needs in 1943, when he was just 35 years old, and it made him famous because as soon as he realized it wasn't complete, and he realized that after a period of time. What it did not include was transcendent experiences, connecting with something greater than yourself. And the joy, the euphoria, the feeling of being at one with the universe, new insights, wonder, awe, the loss of doubts and fears. Those moments have touched so many people, so many. Sadly, he died at the age of 62 from a massive heart attack. But toward the end of his life, he added that level to the hierarchy of needs, that is a level beyond ourselves, beyond self-actualization, and that was self-transcendence. And it included all those wonderful feelings and experiences, realizations that I just mentioned. What Dr. Maslow didn't go deeply into, because he wasn't a divine scientist, was that it isn't necessary to have all those needs met before we experience moments of transcendentalism. These moments of inner peace, of serenity, of awe, of binding and lifting optimism, a sense of great well-being, of an inner assurance that everything really is okay, it really is. Those can have no or very few overtures or overtones of spirituality. They can be separate from a spiritual realization. But when you start deeply transforming your mindset daily, if at all possible, daily, then every day contains the possibility, the potential for transcendent experiences. And that certainly would be something that we would all want deeply. Now, what does the word transcendent mean anyway? Well, it's a couple of two words. It's a distillation of two words from the Latin. Trans means to go above and beyond. Sandera is still another word in Latin, and it means to climb. So together, they mean to go above, to exceed the usual, to climb past the ordinary limit. A transcendent moment certainly is unique. It's far beyond the daily common experiences that we have. It's an unforgettable space, usually very brief, where that tiny tick of time is filled with newness, an insight, a special feeling that isn't of the earth somehow, that isn't of our ordinary experience. It's another order of reality, and very, very seldom we have the joy of stepping into that alternate, that greater reality. Whether we think of these moments as being spiritual or not, they are. They are spiritual moments. They're God making himself felt. Many, many people have felt these special moments. One seldom hears about it from others because they are something precious. They're afraid that it might be poo-pooed, or you might be thought of as a little strange. But actually, they are God making himself felt. Many, many have felt this, those special moments. And so can every one of us. We can have them too, if and when we mentally and emotionally inject a spiritual mindset into our ongoing thinking this day and every day. After all, this is the day. This is the day the Lord hath made. I have a post-it note on my bathroom mirror, um, saying this very thing. And it's an uplift. It helps me. It's a reminder. What we need to bring up right here is the most important word in divine science, and that is omnipresence. That's the most important word. God being everywhere. It's the basis of our faith and why we insist on saying it to ourselves, reminding ourselves that it takes us back to a very singular truth. That is, I and the Father are one. Jesus said this, and that's a truth that he spoke for himself and for everyone else. You and the Father are one. That you find in the book of John. And that's something we need to remember. We need to remember and agree with it internally, because it will change mind and life and feelings forever dramatically. Let's say this together, why don't we, okay? I and the Father are one. I and the Father are one. Let it resonate within you. Let's say, God fills me. God fills me. Let that too sing, ring, reverberate in our minds. God loves me. And finally, wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And that reaffirms that there is no reason to fear, that all is well, whether it looks it or not. Wherever I am, God is. This is the day. This is the day that every one of us can begin to consistently remind ourselves of that wonderful word, omnipresence. God everywhere. Everywhere, meaning within you and me, wherever we happen to be, within everybody and everything. In that hierarchy of needs, God good and God abundance and God love is right there. We need those things. We sometimes don't realize it or we deny it, but we need it. We need to keep remembering that word. I don't think anybody here has unmet physiological needs. Air, water, food, sleep, sex, clothing, and so forth. Some of us might feel a safety problem, a loss of our need of more security, more protection. Maybe the loss of something or someone, it haunts us. Something that would provide safety for us. But when we know, when we remember that God is omnipresent, and as it says in the 91st Psalm, God is our shield and buckler. God is our protection. Then you don't spend time mentally fearing the future and what it might bring. You're more able to stay in this moment, in the present time. As we do, remember that truth. We need to also remember that God reigns. God will provide everything we need. He will provide the inspiration, the creative ideas that quickly will fill any lack, anything that we might feel we need and do not have, whether that seems like We need safety or love, belonging, whatever it happens to be. If you feel the need for more sources of love and belonging, and we know that the rule is, the spiritual law is, you have to give what you want. You have to give what you would like to get. And in time, God's law of attraction will bring the right groups, will bring the right person, the right place to you. How do we think about what we do and how we do it to the people who are difficult, the people who are critical? That's not easy. Those who deliberately withhold love, who withhold acceptance. We need to look at them with love. We need to look at them with love because they are all God's hurting children. They feel unloved themselves, or they would never act that way. Look at the good in them. Find the good within them. As you discover that good and honor it, the godliness in them, their behavior toward you will suffer, will soften. It'll change. It'll become better. You will find that gradually you feel kinder toward them and they feel and act kinder to you. Above all, we never ever forget that they have God's unconditional love at all times, just as we do. As our need for self-esteem or any sense of inferiority or low self-esteem, we need to remember that that is 1,000% wrong. You are the image and likeness of God. You are part of that royal family in this universe. You are the child of the Creator of all things. As God's chosen, and you have been chosen. One with Him, never separate from Him. You are, in fact, His opportunity to bring blessings to this earth. No matter what so-called mistake you might have made in the past, no matter what erroneous feeling of inner deficiency of some sort, today, now, we remember that we are God's beloved. We are God's beloved child, an indispensable part of His plan. Nobody and nothing can replace you. You are unique. Unique. You are His truly and completely loved and totally accepted child. Now, as we go from just a hope to a deep conviction that God is everywhere, within us, without, there is no place where God is not, we automatically have more sexual, self-actualized and transcendent moments. We begin to see God's fingerprints in so many different ways, so many different things. We see and hear more good things than we've had before. We find goodness everywhere. We find beauty everywhere. Life begins to be filled with synchronicities and fortuitous events. Our human needs are met. They are fulfilled in unexpected and beautiful ways. We feel cared for. We feel blessed. We feel safe. You know, in lieu of saying omnipresence to myself, sometimes I switch to the 91st Psalm, which says it all, really, encompasses it all. Starts off this way that I started this talk with. This is the day which the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. We're reminded of that we start out with a sense of gladness. Things work out in wondrous ways. It is certainly one of my favorite reminders of the truth of this moment. This is the day. This is the moment. There's something about saying that to myself that changes my body from tension to relaxation. It helps me dissipate any momentary fear I might have and simply relax. Take a sense of ease in this moment. When I say it, it gives me patience when I feel impatient. It assures me that God is and always has been and always will be fully present. That God is influencing this very moment in a positive way. We don't see it, we don't feel it, but it is going on because that is God's nature. It reliably cheers me up to say that. It makes me feel good. You know, I began thinking to myself, look, you have been doing this for more than 50 years. Maybe it works so well for you because you really believe it, but belief is sometimes essential and sometimes it just occurs. I know that whenever you begin using it, that is belief. It has the most positive effect. It affects everything about that moment. This is the day. Everybody wants to blossom and bloom in life's many experiences. Of course we do. We want to have our basic needs met, naturally. We want to take joy in being all that we can be, having transcendent moments, insights, yes, understandings, and the price when you consider it. The price is very low, very low. It's understanding that this day, this moment, is the only day, the only moment we have. And we make that part of our spiritual mindset. We become inwardly certain that God is within, God is all around, God is in this place, God is in everything we experience, and even when we experience it unhappily, in disappointment or fear. Part of what we are experiencing, in fact, is God coming forth, God energy available to us, God faith in us, and as we have faith in God, things simply change for the better. Life will have more joy, freedom, love, and self-assurance. Shall we finish this talk by saying it together again? This is the day that the Lord hath made, that the Lord hath made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I thank you, and shall we go within? This is the day. This is the moment. This is my opportunity to set a few moments aside every time we can to say omnipresence to ourselves, to remind ourselves of the truth that we are one with God because God is everywhere. This is the day when we can expect to have all our needs met, no matter what they are, because God is part of this day, part of that portion of our day which is infinite good. Sometimes it's hidden, but it is there nonetheless. This is the day when we take stock of ourselves and realize how powerful, how much good, how much peace and love we add to this world. That God can do through us more than we can ever imagine with just a simple thing, a kind word, a smile. This day, we need to rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. Thank you so much, Chris. It was a blessing to all of us. Well, now is the time when we bless the gifts. No, this is not the time. First, we have, we're going to do that.
Well, we missed the Lord's Prayer, so maybe we could do it now.
Why don't we do the Lord's Prayer first? Our Father, who is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not enter into materialism, but you separate us from error. Because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages, sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. And now we will have the blessing of the gifts. We receive so much daily. There is infinite good in our experience if we have but the eyes to see it. And as we receive this good, we need to give thanks for it. Because as we give thanks for it, yet more good is our experience. Today, we want to give thanks for all the things which we have, all the things which are coming to us, and all the things that we have received in the past. Shall we bless the gifts that we have received and that we will receive, and the gift we are to life itself? Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept God's will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely as the gift of good that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you.
Good morning. Okay, welcome to this cold morning. I'm not a cold weather person, so here I am with my jacket on already. So anyhow, the flowers today are beautiful. They're sponsored by Jenny for her daughter's birthday, I think, wasn't it, Pam? Okay, so I guess you'll call her to come pick them up. Okay, they're beautiful, and thank you, Pam, for doing such a great job. We do still have some empty spaces on the flower calendar if anybody would like to sign up and sponsor flowers for a Sunday. And just give myself or Pam $20 and we'll make it happen. So we appreciate that. Also, Pam has asked me to announce that if anybody has anything that they would like to donate to the store, we're going to kind of put some new stuff out. We've had stuff kind of stay there for a few weeks, and so we're going to try to get some new stuff going. So if you've got something you'd like to donate, please bring it to us and we'll try to sell it or give it away or something. So. All right, let's see, it's September the 28th, we're going to have Blessing of the Animals in the front yard from 10:30 to 12:30. We will also be collecting food for the SPCA. We're trying to get one of the organizations to bring some pets to be adopted, so see if we can get that done. But right now, none of them have responded that can come, so we're still working on it. But we'll be on September the 28th at 10:30, that's a Saturday morning. So just keep that in mind. We will be announcing it later on. Let's see. As most of you all know, Ann had back surgery and she's doing very well. And so continue to keep her in prayer and send her cards or text her or call her or something. So she is doing really well. So continue to keep her in mind. Also, as you know, Bob Brooks lost his son a few weeks ago. He's having a very difficult time, so we ask that you all keep him in prayer and text him or send him cards or something, but he's having a difficult time, so just keep that in mind. We've started, the last month, we started some new electronic stuff. We're trying to Facebook and YouTube at the same time, so hopefully we've got the kinks worked out. And so we'll have to do all this downloading that I've been doing for the past few years. So anyhow, today it seems to be working fine, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it works. So if you're not here and you can want to watch it at home, you can go to YouTube or the church's Facebook page or my Facebook page, and it should be on there live on Sunday morning. So just want to let you know that we are doing that. Let's see, one other thing I wanted to just, I touch base with this one other time is that I know that we always do snacks after church, and Ann and I have basically been the same ones doing it all the time, and Ann's not here for a few weeks, and as I said before, I love you all, but I'm not cooking every Sunday for you. So, so I had a couple people give me some money for donations for snacks, and Pam stepped up and did the birthday Sunday last week, and so I appreciate that. And anything anybody wants to do, but be glad to have some help with the snacks for Sundays for a while, so I greatly appreciate that. Are you back to having your reading class on Wednesday night?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Are y'all still doing the same book, or have you changed books?
Yes, we have not finished the book yet.
Okay, all right. Maria's class is at 5 o'clock, and then we have happy hour at 6:30. We change it from coffee time to happy hour, so just so you know. Anyhow, let's see, we talked in the board meeting, we're working on a few new things, hopefully it will be coming out, hopefully by the end of the year, first of next year, do some new things, and try to get some people to come to church, but I don't want to put too much focus on getting new people in the church. I like to get some of our older people back in here that haven't been here for a while, so anyhow, we'll work on both of those. So anybody else have anything? Amy Jo, thank you for stepping up and helping doing and learning the new stuff, so we appreciate that. So, all right, Marie, you got anything? Okay, all right. Y'all sit going.
We close our service with the prayer of protection, acknowledging the fact that while we in our country do not begin to face the challenges that other people around the world face, we can send them thoughts, blessings, prayers that will, in a subtle and yet absolute way, help them. And so, right now, for all the people of the world, thank you. For all the people of the world, we are saying this prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. The mind of God guides you. The power of God abides in you. The strength of God renews you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Thank you. And our final few moments are spent in blessing our own country. There's great division in our country, negative feelings, challenges that we have not faced before. So each in his own way will go within and speak to God about this wonderful country, all the blessings it has been to infinite numbers of people. Shall we do that starting right now? And once again, we say, Amen. Thank you, dear Lord. Amen. Thank you so much for being with us today. Oh,
Shall we stand and sing our joy song?
thank you again.